On today's journey, we have this beautiful, magnificent 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, and I am going to show you guys the steps to perform an oil change on this beast. First things first, we're going to remove the oil cap, place it in a safe location, and then we're going to remove the engine cover. Once we remove the engine cover, we're going to lift the car up. I'll show you what we do underneath there. Car is up in the air now. We're going to take off this belly pan. And to do so, we got to remove 17 of these T30s. And towards the back part of the belly pan, you're going to remove 2 of these T25s. And then you're going to take this belly pan off. All right, so belly pan is off. Now we're going to take our 13 millimeter, put it on our drain plug like so with our ratchet. And we're going to break this bad boy loose. Taking note that when we break it loose, oil is going to come out like that. And it's going to make a huge mess. All the Quadrifoglios, as far as I know, have this drain plug style. And it's annoying because you can sit here and wait for 10 minutes for all the damn oil to drain out via these, I think it's 3 or 4 holes on this drain plug. Or you can make a giant mess by taking the drain plug out and getting oil everywhere. So we'll just let this one chill and drain all the way out, and then once it's done, I'll pull the drain plug out and show you guys exactly what it looks like. All right, so we got the oil down to a trickle, which is where we want it. So I'll go ahead and pull this drain plug off so I could show you guys exactly what I was talking about. With it being hollow, and then just there's like, I think 3 or 4 holes that are drilled out on towards the front of it. So go ahead and remove the gasket here. And if you look closely, there's 1, slippery, 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's 4 holes. Why Alfa decided to go with this style drain plug, I don't know, but that's what they did. So we're gonna pop this back in with the new gasket and tighten it all up. All right, drain plug is back on with the new gasket. We went ahead and torqued it to factory spec of 15 foot-pounds. Seems a little bit low to me, but that's what the factory calls for, so that's what we do. We're gonna go ahead and put this belly pan back on and lower the car back down. All right, next step in the oil change process is we need to remove this big old guy here, your air intake. So in order to do that, we need to disengage each clamp from here as well as here. And once we disengage it, you're gonna follow this coolant hose. You'll see it's engaged here on this clamp, and if I'm not mistaken, behind here there's 2 other ones. Let me go ahead and disengage these. They're underneath. That's how you can always tell if the vehicle has been serviced or not by another shop. 9 times out of 10, the other shop will not put these to where the face to disengage the clip is on the bottom. They will always put it on top. And I can't blame them, because let me tell you, getting these disengaged when the face is on the bottom is a huge pain in the butt. So let me go ahead and get this partially lifted, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so what I went ahead and did was remove the rubber boots on both sides for the air intake, disengage this coolant hose here, as you can see, and I pulled up just to disengage those rubber boots that line up with the corresponding spots on the valve cover and intake. And if you look here underneath, I purposely put the screwdriver here because it's a pain to do this with one hand, but that is the clip face I was talking about. What I usually do is I take a pocket screwdriver like I have here, and I just install it there, and I just pop the clip down to disengage it on both sides. And then once they're loose, we can go ahead and remove this. All right, now that we got these clips disengaged, as you can see, now I can spin them around and show you. This is the face, and it hooks over like that. You have to have that special pliers that I talked about in one of my other videos. It's called the Click E, Click R type pliers, hose clamp pliers. And I'll show you what they look like later on when we go to put this back on. But for now, we got this moved out of the way, and I wanted to show you where this coolant hose travels. So obviously it was engaged here. We disengage it and we follow it behind this air intake, and you can see it lands here. So all you gotta do is just lift up there, and then there's another one. Just lift up on the coolant hose and it comes off, and that's it. Just make sure that when you go to reinstall this, that you put the coolant hose back in those two spots, and then also don't forget to engage it here, because if that hose gets pinched, bad things are gonna happen. So let's go ahead and move this out of the way, and then we'll show you where the oil filter is at. All right, standing at the front of the car, we see our oil filter. That's where it's located. And if you notice, I put a rag, a very long rag. It's a microfiber cloth, looks like this. I only use microfiber cloths when I work on these cars, or any of the cars that I service, but in that fact, just because I don't like the other red rags. They usually leave lint behind, and they make a mess, and they stick to your clothes, and it's just not my thing. So I use microfiber cloths. If you plan to do this yourself, I suggest you do the same. They work better than red rags, they absorb more, and they're, to me, just a better rag altogether. You get them at Costco, like 20 bucks for a giant bag of like 50, I think it is. I'm not sure, they're yellow, but yeah. So anyway, you're gonna use a 32 millimeter socket to remove this oil filter cap and filter housing, or I should say filter assembly. When you loosen it, once you get past the oil seal that's in the cap, oil is going to want to trickle out. That is the reason why we have the rag. If the rag was not present, that oil is going to drip down into that center bay that's in between the intakes, and over time, from stopping and going, that oil is going to trickle either forward or backwards. And when you go to do the next oil change, if you take it to a shop, that shop is going to diagnose either a front crankshaft seal leak, valve cover leak, or a rear main seal leak, because they will see that it's traveled from those locations, and they will assume that it's leaking from those positions. Now, that is why we put the rag. Stick the rag in there so you don't end up with oil leaks, or I should say oil traveling all down the sides and back front of your engine. So let's bust that off and move on to the next step. Just so you guys are seeing it like how I'm doing it here, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about with that oil coming out. Once you break it loose, you start to see oil is going to come out and make somewhat of a mess. Not all the times, but most times. See? There's the cap. There's the filter. Now when you pull that filter out, it's going to be in there pretty well. So what I like to do is I stick a microfiber cloth on my thumb. I stick my thumb inside there, and I pull, just like that. Just let a little bit of that oil drip inside of there. Not a big deal. If it goes out, we have that rag to protect us. So we'll pull this out and get the new one installed. All right, new filter is in, torqued down to spec. We go ahead and remove the towel, the microfiber cloth. So there's no mess under there, if you notice. So next we're gonna go ahead and fill this thing up with oil, and then we are going to start it up. All right, so we got 7.2 quarts of 5W40 oil installed. Car is obviously running. You don't see any oil leaks coming from the filter. Everything's clean. No oil light, no check engine light or any of that. So we'll go ahead and put the air cleaner on now. When we put the air cleaner on, we're going to secure these clamps so that they face upwards. So the next time that we do the service on this vehicle, we won't have to fight with it like we did today. All right, so we got the air filter housing mounted on. So next it's time to clamp this hose clamp here. And we're gonna be using the click E, click R type pliers I was talking about earlier. So one end, being this end here, is to remove the clamp or disengage it. And the other side here, when you flip it, is to engage it. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this on like so. And this is the side that's gonna basically tuck underneath this clamp here. So you'll see once I close it. And that's it. Now to disengage it, you turn the pliers around, and you're using the fatter end this time. It's going to slide underneath there and disengage it. Watch. Just like that. So we'll go ahead and re-engage this one, and then we'll do the other one, and we will go ahead and put the engine cover on and call it good. All right, so we got our engine cover back on. We made sure we wiped down any fingerprints, topped off our coolant, topped off our other coolant, went ahead, double checked the brake fluid level, topped off our washer fluid, and obviously made sure the oil level was okay. So next we're just gonna drop the hood down, reset the service light, and check the tire pressure. All right, so I'm not gonna go into how to reset the oil light because I did cover that in the Alfa Giulia 2.0 oil change. But what I did do is I went ahead and just did a multi-point inspection, checked the brakes, checked the tires, checked the tire pressures. As you guys know, tire pressures are here on the inside door jamb right there. It gives you your tire size as well and your specs for tire pressure. So I'm gonna go ahead and return this back to the customer. Enjoy your guys' day. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.